All right, Miles, great news involving the Texas Longhorns. The offseason that continues to be a really strong offseason. It's just building all kinds of momentum, looking towards the future. We love to talk about on this channel teams that make a lot of the smart moves, programs that have strong pipelines for long-term sustained success. And this latest report, this latest recruiting news out of Austin is further proof that the Longhorns are set up beautifully for the long term.
Yeah, Nick, the Longhorns have been on a tear lately, getting recruit after recruit, and today's news is no different. And I think this shows our greater point of the video today, just how good they are in this aspect. But let's not talk about today's recruits. Let's not talk about the future. I want to talk about what's going on right now. We've gotten down to spring training. We saw how everybody looked. So I want to ask the Longhorns fans in the comments below, over the past spring ball season, you saw a lot of guys look really good. Let us know in the comments below, who is your early breakout candidate for this Texas Longhorns team. I think there's a lot of very interesting options. We saw a lot of really talented players, but let us know, who's your sneaky breakout candidate for the Longhorns. Let us know in the comments below. But Nick, let's get on into it. What is the good news for the Longhorns?
All right, Miles, on this channel, we always have two big sayings when it comes to the recruiting department, right? Good recruiting begets better recruiting, right? You bring in good recruits, more recruits want to come in because, saying number two, A players want to play with A players. And this latest Texas recruiting news follows that to a T. In fact, this recruit basically said it for his own right. If you want to throw up the report, Miles, this is from Hayes Fawcett on 3 Sports. Great for breaking news. Highly recommend for those of you with the Twitter account to follow Hayes Fawcett. Great follow. But anyway, from the tweet, 4-star running back Christian Clark tells me he is committed to Texas. The 6'0", 205-pound running back from Phoenix, Arizona, chose the Longhorns over Georgia, Oregon, and Florida State. Clark on upcoming recruiting momentum for UT. Texas recruiting is about to blow up with some big commits coming in last week and hopefully more to come this upcoming weekend. I think we'll make a huge push this month to be one of the top classes in the country. All right, Miles, look, we talk about it all the time, but it's not just us. We just don't make this stuff out of thin air. It's just the reality with these kids. And really, frankly, in the line of business, whether it's recruits wanting to go to a school to play football or talented engineers wanting to go to some software company or salesmen want to go work for some startup, right? Great players, A players, want to play with other great players or A players. And that's why we always say good recruiting begets better recruiting. Here we've got Clark, a 4-star running back, great prospect. I think he's going to be a phenomenal player for the Longhorns. But he's a guy openly talking about what we say all the time. When you bring in great players, they want to bring in other great players. Everybody wants to be on the best teams. Recruiting classes literally compete with each other to have the best recruiting class possible. This is evident of the fact that that's what happens in major college football. And I love the fact that Texas is building momentum in the recruiting game, because once this flywheel gets going, once momentum gets going, it's almost impossible to stop. You're going to start seeing a high volume of recruits, I think, over the next few weeks as the final official visit weekends kind of round out. I think Clark is going to be really excited. I think Texas fans are going to be really excited with the amount of pipeline talent that comes into this program. And look, it's the 2024 class, right? So it won't affect you this fall. It won't even affect you probably even the 2024 season, except for a few standout freshmen. But to me, this is a sign under Coach Sarkisian that this Texas program is set up for long-term success when it moves over to the SEC, not just for 1 year, not just for 2 years, but 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, throughout the rest of the 2020s. And for that reason, I think Longhorns fans should be really excited. Brian, Miles, I'll throw it over to you now. What are your thoughts on this commit and just everything with the Texas Longhorns right now?
Yeah, Nick, I think Texas is set up for a huge recruiting boom here in the next week or so. Like Clark says, he thinks that it is about to blow up some big time commits for Texas. And that is what has been the trend recently for these big time schools that, like we said, Nick, have those A players, have the better recruits. They're going to get the even better recruits to follow. And I think this is evidence. Proof is in the pudding. You look over at Florida, they had a lot of good players commit to this team. Then over the past week, they have gotten commit after commit after commit. 9 guys committed to Florida, 9 high-level 4-5-star recruits over the last week or so. I think something very similar is about to happen in Texas with the Longhorns because, like we said, this is a team who has very excellent players. You look at Murphy, you look at Arch Manning, you look at Quinn Ewers, they're loaded at quarterback for the next few years. They have tons of talent at the skill positions. Defense looks nice. They've had running backs galore you look at Bijan Robinson, you look at Roshan as well. They have had tons of talent on this team, and I think everybody sees that, and it is apparent with a guy like Clark coming in, and he can tell. He's talking to these other recruits. He knows what's on their mind. He can talk to anybody and not get in any kind of trouble. So he is going to get the feel from these guys, and I have a feeling there's a wave of big-time recruits coming to Texas in the next coming weeks for this 2024 class. I think it's going to be pretty huge, and I think, like we said, this just goes to show Texas, Sarkisian, pat yourselves on the back because this is all from the hard work that you have put in. You're going to get yourself a giant spoil of riches from this recruiting class.